The richest people I know are not those who live easy lives. They don't always pick up the phone to good news or live a life without tears, disappointments, and questions. The book Making Life Rich Without Money is filled with stories of amazing people who have overcome the odds. I think of my friend Donna. She battles cancer, and as if that weren't enough, her daughter was left with permanent brain damage from a car crash. Then her husband had an affair and moved out. And one awful day just before Christmas, her son Seth and a friend hit a train 500 yards from their house. Christmas Day should not be spent planning a funeral for your son. Any of these things would be enough to push me over the edge. I get a hangnail and I want it on the evening news. So how is it that Donna can sit across the table from my wife and me, her face beaming, and say, "It's been so hard, but God has been so good. I would never have experienced His comfort and provision, His healing and compassion without walking these roads." What keeps Donna from packing it in? I've observed three things in the lives of those who find joy in the valley. First of all, they are thankful people. Donna is so thankful. Secondly, they compare down, not up. Donna doesn't waste time talking about how easy others have it. She knows that leads to bitterness. A doctorate in suffering has taught her compassion for those who are in difficulty, and she loves sharing that compassion with others. Thirdly, they are people of outrageous faith. Scott and Connie Mitchell were our neighbors when we first married. We watched movies together and laughed even if the movie wasn't funny. Connie always wanted to know the end of the movie near the beginning, so Scott would say, "Watch, honey, you'll see." By the time the Mitchells entered the ministry, their son Jonathan's behavior had grown dangerous. By the age of 13, he was abusing alcohol and soon graduated to crystal meth. We dedicated him to God even before he was conceived, Connie told me. He was loved and wanted. Why was this happening? The drugs made Jonathan paranoid, and soon he had purchased a handgun. One awful night, he tried to force his way into their locked house to get a pair of shoes. Gripping the gun with his left hand, he shattered the glass, unlocked the door, grabbed his shoes, and left, unaware that the weapon had discharged, killing his own father. Scott died in Connie's arms. Stunned and devastated, Jonathan accepted responsibility and at 23 was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 11 years in prison. Imagine. Connie began to go through Scott's journals. One entry in particular caught her attention. "When I am tested, I will come forth as gold. I may not know where God is in all of this, but I know that He is involved." She read this and told me, "I knew that I would drown if I concentrated on the what-ifs. So I asked God to keep me focused on His love and His goodness." As that focus became a habit, it gradually became possible to pray that God would somehow bring glory through all this mess and use me to bring hope to others. Scott had told friends that he would gladly give his own life if it would make a difference for Jonathan, and our son has been given a second chance. He is healthy and drug-free and learning to make wise choices. You know, Connie knows that more challenges lie ahead. I'm sure there are times she wonders how she'll make it, if God will be big enough, how the movie will end. I like to picture Scott smiling at her from heaven, smiling at her courage and her questions and her faith. Perhaps he's saying, "Watch, honey, you'll see." Connie told me God is helping me see that He has a much bigger eternal plan. He knows the end of the story, and someday we will see the whole picture. For now, I'm content to trust in His goodness and love. That's the outrageous faith of Connie Mitchell, one who is truly rich.